Hi, I'm Scott Newberger with Lifecharge Coaching, and today I have with me Jared Davis, who's a Utah National Guardsman, and he's going to tell us a little bit about his success. But before we do that, I just want to introduce him. Jared has been a staff sergeant for the Utah National Guard for some time now. He's been in the National Guard for about 13 years, and he got his bachelor's in business finance, what, 2 or 3 years ago?
Back in 2009, yep.
In 2009. He's also a father of 4, has a wonderful wife and 4 wonderful kids. But he today is going to tell you a little bit about one of his successes, which I believe has to do with the National Guard.
Yes. That's great.
And so we're going to ask him the same 3 questions that we want everybody to answer on our website. The first question is what your success is. The second question will be how has it affected you? And then the third question will be how has it affected other people? So why don't we start with that first question, Jared? Tell us a little bit about your success.
All right. Well, Scott, thanks for having me and doing a little presentation here with you. Happy to help you out on this. Basically, I've been in the military for quite some time now, 13 years. I really enjoy it. It's something that I've been doing, obviously, for a long time. Back in 2005, I kind of started making some kind of bigger transitions in my life, all right? I moved down here to Arizona from Utah to date a gal.
Nice.
And that was a good thing. Another friend of mine kind of introduced me to her, and one thing led to another, and eventually we decided to get married. So during this marriage, I picked up 2 kids, and she had 2 kids from a previous marriage, and it was just kind of this instant family kind of thing. All right.
I know how that goes.
You do know how that goes, don't you? That was quite an experience. Picked up new work. There were a lot of stresses in my life, and my wife and I were just talking about this recently. Some of these stresses, first of all, getting married. You don't normally pick up a couple kids when you get married. Moving down here to Arizona, getting new work down here in Arizona. And just a lot of different things were going on. One constant in my life at that time was the military. So I was just doing my normal 1 weekend a month and 2 weeks out of the year service to the country, to the state, something I've, again, enjoyed for a long time. And during that time, again, living my civilian life, taking care of my family, my kids, working my job, and also going to school. There are a lot of things that were definitely keeping me quite busy. One of the extracurricular activities with the military was I decided to join the Honor Guard. So during this time of participating in the Honor Guard, that was more time away from my family, away from work, and even away from the military. This is, again, an extracurricular activity there. I was just a busy guy. And
so even if you had stress, and it could be good stress, it's still stress.
Right. We call that eustress.
Eustress.
Anyway, yeah.
Positive stress sometimes can also be somewhat taxing.
Yeah, exactly. And sometimes even some of the distresses can still be maybe a positive stress if you kind of look at it or respond to it, I think, effectively, right?
Yeah. So depending on how you handle that stress. So you tried to find a positive way to handle that positive stress.
Yeah, that's exactly the case. And me, just with my temperament, I'm pretty low-key about different things. So it wasn't too stressful for me. But my wife, she was one to kind of experience stress a little bit differently than I choose to do, I guess, and how I've related to stress in my life. And so what happened was, as I was participating in all these different activities, again, it was just part of my life. I knew I was very busy, and I knew that it was just something that I needed to do at this time in order to meet some of the different goals that I've had. So I never realized that this was going to happen, but as I was participating in the Arizona Air National Guard, and again, the Honor Guard for Arizona, I was recognized, and I won quite an award. I didn't, again, expect to win an award like this, but I won the Airman of the Year for the Honor Guard member of Arizona. Let me say that right. The Arizona Airman of the Year for the Honor Guard. And again, something I never planned on, never really had my sights on. That wasn't one of the many other goals that I was kind of pursuing at the time.
Yeah. And that's quite an honor too. I mean, not many people will get that award at that level here in the state. You've got to be quite a quality airman, not just from a standpoint of doing your routines and your practicing with your flags and that type of thing, but you've also got to be a very distinguished airman by your regular work that you do in the National Guard as well.
That's all true. That's all true. And they also do look at your extracurricular activities away from the military altogether. So that I was serving in different capacities with my church, with the community. I was participating, trying to increase my self in different ways. I was, again, pursuing my bachelor's degree at the time. I was also participating in an organization called Toastmasters.
Oh, yes.
So there were a lot of things.
Yeah,
there were just a lot of things that were keeping me really busy.
Yeah.
I enjoyed them all, but again, I just never was seeking that achievement, and it kind of fell into my lap, it was quite an honor for me, and I really appreciated that. Those who kind of recognized my efforts, whether it was related to the military or not. So it's pretty cool.
And I think that's really neat that the military recognized that as a whole individual, you really were achieving a lot at that time and taking on a lot, but also doing well in it. So that's quite a success.
Yeah.
That's an excellent story. So tell me then a little bit, and you've kind of already discussed it, so tell me a little bit about how it's affected other people when you won that award.
Well, of course, my wife appreciated a little bit of, honoring her husband, I guess, a little bit. We went to a nice affair, big ceremony and dinner. It was really a neat experience. And when we arrived to this event, we didn't know that I was the winner, but everybody was kind of put on stage and say, okay, these were the nominees for this prestigious award, and these were the runner-ups, and this is the winner for the state. What was also kind of cool about that was because I was the Airman of the Year for Arizona, I was sent to my packet was sent to the United States, the capital, and we competed against all the other airmen of the other states.
For the national award.
Right, for the national award. So anyway, aside from that, how has this affected other people?
Right.
Right.
Well, and I think also, before you go on to that, I think it's also important to note, especially for those people that have never been to a military affair like that, it is a pretty big deal. I mean, they have a very nice catered dinner, or not catered, it's actually a dinner that's served to you at your table, and hundreds of people are there, and you get to go up in the spotlight, and they recognize you individually for the great work that you've done. So I can understand how your wife probably enjoyed that event, and you did too. It's just an incredible event. If you've never been to a military recognition event like that before on a state level, it's pretty incredible.
Yeah.
So that's neat how it kind of affected her. But how is it? I guess the last question is, how has it affected you and your family? Last question is, how has it affected other people?
Right. So kind of talking about how it's affected me and how it's affected others. First of all, again, I was extremely busy. I know that I'm not too abnormal, though. I think a lot of people are busy in their own different ways, whether it be with hobbies or service or church or school or work, whatever it is. We've all got a lot of different things that we're putting our energy into. It gave me a lot of confidence to be able to work as hard as I did and achieve the bachelor's degree and be successful in church and be successful in serving others and all these different things. But of course, it's kind of a humbling thing to know that maybe my work was recognized in a way that I never thought it would be in this way.
Sure.
But still, it was humbling again, and it was just kind of inspiring even to myself to know that this is something that I achieved just for being what I thought was just an average guy.
Yeah. Well, no, it's definitely something that recognizes you as standing out here in the Arizona Air National Guard, but also as a military person. It just really kind of distinguishes you for the hard work and the effort that you're putting forth.
All right.
So I really appreciate that. I think a lot of people might be able to relate to that as they're busy with school and work and responsibilities of kids and family life. But it is something that should be recognized, because especially doing those types of things when you're trying to excel in your regular civilian job as well as get an education, but also serving our country, that's something I really respect. as a patriot and as a military member, I really respect the fact that you're doing that extra work, and not only doing that extra work, but excelling in that effort. So
I appreciate that.
congratulations. That's an excellent success story. Anything else you'd like to share?
Sure. I mean, I could talk. I can talk. No, I'm just kidding.
We only got a few minutes.
But I mean, I think there are so many people that are affected and affecting me even as I'm growing in my individual capacity. But I'm also, of course, interacting with others, and I've always appreciated our friendship, and
Yes.
and you've been a great mentor to me even.
Well, thanks.
And my pleasure. But I mean, more thank you and your pleasure, I hope.
Goes both ways.
But at the same time, I'm helping my wife, and she's helping me, and there's always just a big network out there that people are interacting with, and whether we are trying to be that good influence or not, we're being an influence.
Yeah, whether it's good or bad, you are an influence.
And hopefully we are, helping others see that there are a lot of great things that are going on out there, because people are running into rough times all the time. Even during those many years that I was facing what I was facing, I didn't really see it as rough, but it was rough.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
hard work.
We talked about that. It's a stressful situation. So anybody can really, if they've got the right mindset and just understand that, hey, this is going to end. I can get through this, and that's why I'm working hard at this. There is a great reward that I'm going to have a bachelor's degree, that my family's going to be better off, that I'm growing in my ability to serve the country,
yes,
or whatever those different areas that I'm really working on. There's just a lot of benefits that are going to come, whether they are there right then or not.
Well, I think that's very important, because a lot of times when you're in the midst of working towards things that can be very good for you, sometimes it can get discouraging because you don't know how long you're going to have to work, or it's almost as if you can't see an end in sight. But there really is, and then that's really some good encouraging words that you should continue to work hard, because in the end, it will be worth it.
Yeah, and enjoying that journey.
Yes.
I mean, sure, the end is what we're looking for, but enjoying that journey and appreciating the journey.
And as you look back on the time period in which you're going through that, of course, there are hard times, but you really learned a lot from it and probably enjoyed a lot of what you're going through at the time.
Yep, that's how it went.
So I appreciate it. And that's great. That's kind of why we have this website and these interviews, because we want people to share their successes, to help to motivate others, to help others feel like that they can do it as well, and they can see your success and how you've been able to achieve some wonderful things. Even though you're a very busy man and you had a lot going on, you're very successful. So we appreciate you sharing that. This is Scott Newberger with Lifecharge Consulting, and this is Jared Davis, Staff Sergeant Jared Davis. Thank you very much for watching.